We are what? We are who? We are what? Vibrant. We are who? 50 plus. Hi, welcome to Gray Lives on the Rise. I am your host, Professor Jamila Franklin, and we are coming to you from Oyende Enterprises, being sponsored by Jamila Sense, which is our product line of aromatherapy products that helps heal the mind, body, and soul. And we are bringing to you Alamaj's rebirthing program, as well as Jamila Sense and a host of wonderful programs that will help heal your body, heal your soul, and heal your mind. 50 plus people, we are here to stay. Gray Lives on the Rise. We are what? We are who? We are vibrant, and we are here to stay. Join us for our wonderful episodes. Thank you, and continue to look for our episodes weekly, being brought to you again from Oyende Enterprises and Jamila Sense. See you soon. Thanks, everyone. Welcome again to Great Lives on the Rise. I am the host and founder, Professor Jamila Franklin, and you're now having the opportunity to experience Great Lives on the Rise. You see my shirt? Yeah. We're going to have a wonderful time with Martha today. And I am, like I said, the founder and the founder and the host. And a little bit about me. I'm a certified Reiki master, a certified aromatherapist, a certified metaphysician, a college professor of psychology. I have my own clinical practice. I specialize in healing ancestral trauma. Yeah. And I am an award-winning published author. And I do a lot of other things, but that's just a short list, okay? It's not about me today. I'm just giving you a little intro. And also today, I'm going to tell you how we got started and the sponsor, my company, Oyende Enterprises, is underwriting this. So you know I have to give Oyende Enterprises a shout out. Okay. But anyway, about 2 years ago, I was walking and this download came into my consciousness, and it basically stated that there is nothing that deals with our demographic, meaning people who are 50 plus. And I said, yeah, I thought about that. And I said, that is so true. So the download gave me more information, and it basically said you need to have something that addresses those concerns and have people look at themselves differently, using different kinds of adjectives, and have your own store and have a podcast. So I came up with the name Great Lives Matter, but I didn't like that. I said, that doesn't really resonate with me. And then boom, Great Lives on the Rise came into my consciousness, and I said, yeah, I like that. You know, it doesn't mean that your hair has to be gray. It means that you are over 50 plus, and we're on the upswing. We're on the rise. We're not going down. Okay. So I like that. And then the next thing was changing how we view ourselves. We're not elderly. We're not old. We're not senile. We are vibrant. We're mature. We have a lot of life within us, and we're very active, right? So I said, yeah, okay. And then the next thing was you need to have a store to have people buy merchandise that connects with their time in the season of their lives. And I said, yeah, that's good. So we have a store. Like I said, we have Great Lives on the Rise t-shirt. Martha has her beautiful mug that she's going to show you. See? Always blur it out. I guess you have to. Yeah, okay.
I don't know why it's blurred out. Probably because I've got the background on here, but yes.
Yeah, well, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Martha has a mug. So we have other things too in our store. So feel free to go to the store. And the last thing was about the podcast. And I desire to have people who are 50 plus tell their stories about their merchandise, about their experiences, about all the wonderful things that were happening in their lives. Because when you get to be 50 plus, particularly in America, people tend to dismiss you. And talking to other people from different countries, the same thing was happening. Okay. I've had guests on from Australia, from New Zealand, the Netherlands, the UK, Canada, and of course America, and people who were originally from the Philippines and from other places, different islands like Haiti and some other places. So we are global, we're multi-ethnic, multicultural, multi-religious. Men and women are on the podcast because men, like women, have their stories to be told. So that's it in a nutshell. And in order to find out more about Great Lives on the Rise, go to our website, oyindeenterprises.com. And that is spelled OYIND, like in dog, E, Enterprises, ENTERPRISES.com. That's on oyindeenterprises.com. And you will see all of my companies. And the one that's underwriting us today is Jamila Sense. And this is the product that's amazing. It's an aromatherapy product that I created, and it deals with eliminating stress, anxiety, depression. See how clear it is? Hyperactivity within children, sinus congestion, sinus headaches, migraine headaches, PTSD, and it gets rid of flies and mosquitoes. So you put it in the palms of your hands, like so. You rub your palms together, and then you breathe in. You're in Zen. And then you rub the rest on your arms, and flies and mosquitoes will not come near you. Okay. And it's wonderful too for postmenopausal symptoms. It gets rid of any residual hot flashes and any of that. So Jamila Sense is the company of mine that is underwriting this. So there you have it. Now we're getting to a very important part of the podcast. We're going to have this wonderful, wonderful session with Martha Burich. I think I'm pronouncing the name correctly.
Burich.
I'm sorry?
Burich.
Burich, thank you. So Martha wrote, Yes, You Can Raise Happy, Responsible Children, which is available on Amazon and is rated 5 stars. She was a child psychology professor for 10 years and taught high school special education for 16 years. And currently she teaches a 4-week online course for parents. And her husband transitioned, when her husband transitioned, and she was married to him for 25 years, and her mother, within 6 months of each other, she stopped drinking 7 years ago. She volunteers weekly at the local jail and treatment center for those with substance abuse problems. She has 1 child and 2 rescue dogs, and she has articles in the AA Grapevine National Magazine, Spotlyts, and iPain national magazines. And she was recently notified that she's in the upcoming edition of Who's Who in America. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So she's going to share her wisdom with us. I'm so excited to talk with Martha. How are you, beloved? I call everyone beloved.
That's wonderful. That's a wonderful term too. I love to be beloved.
Yeah.
I'm absolutely fabulous. And I love the way you start your show because you know what? We need to showcase our talents, our abilities, and our products. We don't do that enough. And I know, so I'm definitely learning from you right there. And you know, Gray Lives on the Rise, it is so true. There is an ageism thing. You know, it used to be we all lived together, grandma, grandpa, aunts and uncles, everybody. You know, my mother came from Italy. They lived in a 5-story flat, and each family had their own story of the apartment building, and that was the whole family's. Each family had their own floor, and the kitchen was on the 3rd floor. So they were constantly interacting with each other. And you know, there's an old story that, you know, back in the days when everything was farms, if you had a relative who had substance abuse problems or whatever, the rest of the family would pick up the slack. They would be drunk and they
Mhm.
wouldn't get up in the morning to feed the cows or whatever. Well, then all the other family members would do more that day to cover for him or her, so that it didn't have such an effect on the family. Whereas
Mhm.
now, when we're so isolated, there's no one to pick up the slack. If mom or dad don't feel good, aunts and uncles, grandma and grandpa is not there to help with the children or anything else. So
Mhm.
yes, we really do live these totally different lives. And because of that, because of all this separation we have now, um, we have lost our respect for
Yes.
experience and for the
Yes.
wisdom of our elders. And
Yes.
and part of that problem, I really think, Jamila, is the school system, because now each child is segregated by their grade. All the little kindergartners are together. It used to be the one room schoolhouse. The older kids would
Yeah.
help the younger one. Who's there to help them
Yeah.
except an adult? So now we have all these games like, well, you can only get your problem solved by an adult, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah.
So yes, this whole thing, I remember when I was about 50, not even 50, and I realized something's not right here, because I would go to stores and it would be like I was invisible. Nobody
Yeah.
noticed me anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and that's what happens. We become invisible so that we think we're invisible. And
Mhm.
I knew early on I was not going to go down. I'm not going out without a fight.
Right.
Not going to go out. I'm not going to have bad health. I'm going to do everything I can to keep my health up, which
Right.
in my case means avoiding doctors, but that's a whole nother conversation too. And I
I
walk.
agree. I agree with you
Oh,
about that.
there you
Yeah.
go.
Share
Good.
that philosophy.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
it
should.
used to be your blood pressure was your age over 100, the top number, and the bottom 80 to 100, you were fine. So if you were 70, your top number 170, over 100, you were fine. Now, oh my God, it's high blood pressure. You need to be on pills. Blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
I'm telling you,
Mhm.
you got to really watch those doctors, but that's a whole nother conversation. So, gray lives on the rise. As long as I'm alive, I got a job to do. People
Mhm.
need me and I need them and I
Mhm.
need them. So, with my experience with teaching child psychology for 10 years at the college level, teaching high school special education, so I was a science and math teacher. And,
Mm.
as long as I'm alive and my brain's working, I have a job to do. I have two rescue dogs. They need me. They love me. My
Mhm.
son, I live with my brother and my son. My family needs me, and so do other people.
Mhm.
So we have to let go of that. Oh, I got to tell you a story right now, Jamila. I was
Mm.
walking the dog just 2 weeks ago. I'm walking the dog. I live on a
Mhm.
road, and one of my neighbors came by. He drove by. He always stops. Tom, I think Tom's about 50. His mother's only 70, maybe 75. So I said, "Hey Tom, how's everything going?" He goes, "I really wish my mom was more like you." I said, "What's wrong?" Because my mom has diabetes, and the doctor said
Mm.
if she doesn't start moving, he's going to have to cut off her foot.
Wow.
What? I said, I hope your mom's racing out the door to get some exercise. He said, no. She said she
Mm.
doesn't care.
Wow.
What? What? I'm telling you, if somebody said that to me, I'd be racing out there. Give me that dog. Give me whatever. I would race on. I said, oh dear. So he said, I had to run errands, but I told my mom, look, mom, I'm going to run errands. But when I come back, we're going to walk to that mailbox and back. I'm not going to let you just vegetate like this.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I don't know, where do we get these ideas? I took piano lessons for the first time when I was 62, Jamila, 62.
Mm.
So I get a piano teacher. Well, she was the elementary school music teacher. She
Mhm.
owned the music store in town. So I'm practicing every day. I did what was a big song I was working on? Um, Shania Twain, from this moment. Anyway,
Mhm.
so one day she comes up to me, I think it was October, November. She goes, we're having the Christmas recital. I want you to be in it. And I'm thinking to myself, that's for children. And I thought, oh, why not? Why not? So, okay, recital day comes and I'm practicing my little head off. Uh, my turn, I was after the 5-year-old. She was very good. And before the 10-year-old, and this 10-year-old was homeschooled and he was a phenom. He wrote his own music. Oh, he was unbelievable.
Mm.
Anyway, luckily I didn't make any mistakes. After the meeting, I'm looking around, it's all grandparents and parents, right? And me. and children and little children.
Mm,
And so after the meeting, all these grandparents and parents are coming up to me. Oh my goodness, you've inspired me. Oh, I thought I was too old. I was going to take painting.
mm-hmm.
I was thinking I wanted to, take up tennis, whatever it was. You've inspired me. I'm not too old. No, as long as we're alive, we're not too old. As long as we can move, we got to move.
Yeah.
I used to show my child psychology class. We had a video, and it was about people who were in chronic pain and how that they just stopped living their life because the pain
Yeah.
would stop them. And they were in a research study, and the researchers said, look, you got to push yourself. If you don't, your quality of life is going to be ruined and you're just not going to enjoy life. You've got to
Mm-hmm.
push yourself. So that's what they did. Even their arms hurt, they would just go a little bit more every day, a little bit more. And by the end of this research, these people were vibrant, living their lives, enjoying themselves,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
living in spite of the
Yeah.
pain. And a lot of them got over the pain. So
Mm-hmm.
can't let all right. Now I got another. Just something you'd like to say because I got another story to tell you.
No, go ahead. No. Mm-mm.
Okay, so I go to the mall a couple of years ago. I go to the mall. I'm single. You mentioned how my husband's passed on for a long time. So I'm at the mall and I see this handsome older gentleman reading the paper outside of Nordstrom. They had a little area there with tables and chairs. And so I go into Nordstrom and I come back an hour later. He's still sitting there reading the paper. So I thought, okay, Martha, strike while the iron's hot. So I go up to him and I go, well, hello. Are you waiting for your wife or girlfriend? Got to get that out of the way, right? Right off the
Exactly.
bat. And he looks at me funny. He goes, no. I said, oh, good. Are you single? Yes. I said, great. Move over. I'll sit next to you. We can talk. And he looks at me really funny. And I said, you're alone. I'm alone. Let's get to know each other. And oh, Jamila, this was so funny. He looks at me real funny and he goes, and he yelled it, I come to the mall to be alone. And so I thought, okay, Martha, now what? So I said, oh, my bad. Have a nice day. I smiled, have a nice day. And I left because, I disturbed him. I went
Mm.
his way. But you know what my thought was? My thought wasn't I got rejected. My thought was one down, next, next.
Yes.
Because
Yes.
because what did I prove to myself? Hey, guess what? I just got kind of put down pretty bad in front of a lot of people. And is anything different? Did I lose anything? No,
Yeah.
I didn't have a
Yeah.
date before. I didn't have a date after. I lost
Yeah.
nothing, but I gained tremendous amount of self-confidence learning. Hey, guess what? Somebody said no to me and
And then fall apart. Yeah.
yeah, life goes on. So
Yeah.
that was a really
That
good
was, I commend you because a lot of women would not have done that. I don't know if I would have done that. I would have probably thought it. I don't know if I would have done it. So I
yeah.
commend you.
Yeah, well, you
Yeah.
know what? I'm not getting any younger.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Nothing
think,
beats a failure but a try.
yeah, we got to try. And
Nothing, yeah, nothing beats a failure but a try.
you
So
don't,
if you don't extend yourself, you would never know what the
that's right.
possibilities may be.
And you don't look at the outcome. You look at the fact that you did it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, just like a baby, they fall down. How many times they fall down? Well, the baby doesn't go, oh, gee, I fell down. I can't get back up again. Oh, I quit. I
Mhm.
quit. I quit. That's what we do because we're big babies. But
Yes.
he just goes, oops, okay, let me try again.
They
Boom.
are such excellent teachers. I love watching babies.
Mm-hmm.
If they have a spat with a friend or something, the next 5 minutes they're hugging each other again. They don't hold on to things. They don't
Yeah.
hold on to things. That
Yeah.
that's so amazing. Yeah. So your
So
job as a child psychology instructor has really given you some foundational skills in how to interact and how to interpret people's behaviors and
mhm.
how not to personalize it because you understand the human psyche. I think that's really good. I think that's really
That's
good.
you can't personalize it. I was on the treadmill with a friend of mine. She's 70, her daughter's 50. And she told me, she said, my daughter was whining to me again about how I always treat her sister better than I treat her. I said, honey, let me tell you, my mother loved my brothers better. And I'll say that till the day I die. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. It was my own perception.
Mm-hmm.
And I even had an argument with one of my brothers about it. We argued about it. I said, Mom loved you better. He said, no, she loved you better. And then we were both arguing about the evidence. And for about a moment, I thought to myself, gosh, maybe she did love us the same, but we're different people. So
Mm-hmm.
she loved different things about us. And I thought, nah, because I had that victim thing going for so long. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so if you deal with that, if you have more than one child and they keep giving you that BS, you just say, you know what? I'm not a robot and neither are you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I
That's
think that's I think that that's really good because so many adults who grew up with the perception that a parent loved the other sibling more than he or she loved the person. And they have sibling rivalry going on in their heads and stuff. And it may be as far from the truth as day is from night. But
right. Times it is. It's
and
so far from the truth.
yeah, yeah, yeah. In the total scheme of things, it really doesn't matter. You got the love.
Right. And even if it is the truth, let's say it was the truth that mom loved your sister or brother better. Well, does that mean that you're going to be a loser all your life? Does that
Right, right,
mean
right. But
live your life? No. It
you're
means
not
nothing.
going to allow that to foretell what's going to happen in your life because you miss out on so many opportunities if you think someone is getting preferential treatment, you're not getting preferential treatment. You know, you can do one or two things, have it not be an issue for you, or just move on to the person who demonstrates the kind of love that means more to you. Some people need to have strong symbols or examples of affection. You know, so if you're with someone and that person isn't able to do that, then find someone who can give you what you feel like you need. Get a pet.
Mhm.
They love you unconditionally.
I
Get
love you. The better
a
one.
pet. Get a
The
pet.
better one. Oh, okay, Jamila, my thing is parenting. I wrote that book, Yes, You Can Raise Happy, Responsible Children, because when our son was 4, oh, he was so spoiled because we thought the way you raise a happy child is you never say no.
Oh, uh-huh. Oh,
Oh, so I had to learn how to say no, and let me tell you, that was a job. But we turned him around in about 6 weeks, and everything I learned, I put in that book. And
oh, okay.
that all that information, it's only 60 pages. Boom, boom, boom. Here's what you do if they misbehave here. Here's how you strengthen your marriage. Here's what you do when you travel with a child. It's just boom, boom,
Mm.
boom. Because you know what? We don't have time to be looking through theory. I gotta have what works.
Yes,
I gotta have what works. Well,
yes.
anyway, so where am I going with this? I wrote that book because for necessity. And
Mm-hmm.
all the information in that book is what has helped me to deal with the prisoners in the jail, to deal
Mm.
with the people in the treatment centers, because you got
Mm-hmm.
a lot of behaviors, but
Mm-hmm.
you know how to deal with people, and you know what I'm talking about. You don't react, you
Mm-hmm.
listen, you respond, you pay attention, and
I
some
like that. Repeat that. You don't react, you respond.
you
You pay
respond.
attention. I like that.
Oh, and that's where I was going with that. Okay, so I know if anybody knows, it's me. I know when the child misbehaves, you don't just yell across the room, stop it. You
Mm-hmm.
get up and you walk over to the child and you say, we don't do that, honey. Here's what we do. We don't run,
Mm.
we walk. So you tell them not only not what not to do, but you have to tell them what to do.
Mm-hmm.
We don't say mean things to people. We say this to them. We deal with it this way. But you have
Mm-hmm.
to get up off your butt and go and be right there with the child, eye to eye, and touch them. Not mean, but firm.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So I'm eating lunch and I look over and the dog's got his paws up on the counter, licking the counter. Not in the kitchen where I'm eating, but across, about 5, 10 feet away.
Uh-huh.
So being, of course, I yelled, get down, because I was in the middle of lunch and I didn't feel like getting up. So
Mm-hmm.
the dog looks at me, Jamil. This was so funny. He looks at me, and you could almost see him thinking, yeah, right. Get up. You get up? Huh? You gonna get up? Nah, I didn't think so. So he just stayed right up there licking the counter because he knew I wasn't gonna move.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the same with our children. That's how children become mother and father deaf and
Yeah.
parent, because we yell, but we don't do anything. Had I gotten
Mm-hmm.
up and said, "You better get down, mister," and been right there, he'd have gotten his little butt down.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
there was no
Yeah.
consequence. There was no
Yeah.
consequence. And see, here I am. I know better. But I also, as I sat there eating my lunch, I thought, I'm not getting up. I'm going to enjoy my lunch.
Mm-hmm.
I'll wipe up where he licked later.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm. And children know that too. Like I tell people, I said, children are so grandparents and great grandparents, hear us as we're talking because you have spoiled them rotten. So children are master psychologists. I tell people they don't have a job. Their job, and animals too, they observe your behavior. They
right.
look at you and say, okay, she said no, but that wasn't the real no. That's a soft no. I mean, they know, and they talk amongst each other. They
Yeah.
talk amongst each other. I've heard them when I was subbing for a short period of time, kids in middle school talking uh, amongst each other about what what they knew when their parents were serious and when they were not. They don't have a job, so they just sit back and they watch you.
That is their job. I was being interviewed by a woman and she told me, she said, my parents, my mom was a pushover and my dad was serious. So I knew
Mm.
which one to go to. I always knew which one to go to and I knew how to play them off each other.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's the first mistake. People should never let their children play them against each other. They
mhm,
should come, even if they agree with the child, you have a unified front because they know who to
that's
go
right.
to, and they
That's
would
right.
pit you against each other. That's their that's their
And
job.
if it's important, you need to talk to your spouse or your partner beforehand. Never
Exactly.
disagree with your partner in front of your child. Never.
Exactly.
Talk about it. But you
Exactly.
also, there's another thing, that we don't have to be on the same page about everything. Men
Right.
throw babies up in the air and catch them. What? You know, women rarely do that, but men have that upper body strength. And if the baby's
Yeah.
and the neck is strong, and the kid love it, right? Whereas
Yeah.
we wouldn't do that. So we have to allow each parent to be the parent. And if one is a pushover and we know it, then we have to discuss with them, okay, I know you're the pushover. We're going to play good cop, bad cop. You be the good cop,
Exactly.
I'll be the bad cop. All right, we'll handle it this way. But you have to let each person be who they are because some parents they get this idea that both parents have to be on the exact same page. And then this whole thing with the grandparents too. Well, I don't give my children sugar. And then they go over to grandma's house and she lets them have M&Ms.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? That's grandma's house, isn't it? Is the child
Mm-hmm.
diabetic? Is it medically? Why don't you let grandma be grandma and let grandma do grandma things and you be mom and you do mom things? You
Mm-hmm.
have your rules at your house. Let grandma have rules at her house. Now, also,
Mm-hmm.
if your child goes to grandma's house and you got a little baby, you better get down on your hands and knees and crawl around that house and you look for all those little staples on the ground. You look for everything. You look for the outlets and the sockets. You look for
Yeah.
tables, the sharp table corners that can
Yeah.
hurt your baby, you know,
Yeah.
and that way make your parents' home safe for your child. But other
Mm-hmm.
than that one, just and if there's no abuse involved or verbal or physical abuse, let people be people and let children have relationships with people in their
Mm-hmm.
own way. You know.
Mm-hmm. And that's becoming more challenging now because you're finding out about the the different types of abuse that children are experiencing,
Mm,
and people are becoming more cautious,
mhm,
and rightfully so, understandably so, because we're finding about these horrendous things that are happening. So it's kind of challenging nowadays to have children have connections with people within their family and outside of their family, with people who are safe.
And if your child is under 18, do not leave them alone with the computer, with the video. Make sure they do all that in open spaces. Really, I guess maybe 18 might be pushing it. Definitely 16 and under. Do not
Mm.
let them be exposed to this without it being in an open area and take their phones and their computers out of their bedrooms. You don't know who they're talking to at 2 in the morning.
Very true.
They get up at 4 in the morning, or they're up till 4 in the morning. They don't get up and ready for school. Their grades are going down. And
Yeah.
what's important. So we really have to have the conversations. And one thing I definitely want to say, if you have to talk to your child about something, never make it at the dinner table. We meet
Mm.
for meals, and that's supposed to be a fun time to talk about fun stuff. If you have to have a serious conversation with your child about anything, what they did at school or whatever, some kind of behavior change, say, you know what, we need to have a conversation. Let's make an appointment. And then
Mm-hmm.
do it that way, not at the, not when you're eating a meal, because that's supposed to be pleasant. That's supposed to be time for the family to bond. And all children should have chores. And I don't care if that baby's a year. A little baby can sweep the floor, can match socks. They can put the blue sock and the blue sock together. They can stir if you're baking or cooking something. They can slap a piece of chicken on a tray. Everybody needs to have chores and to help, because otherwise that's part of living. That's our
I
job
like that.
as
Yeah,
human beings.
I like that. I remember when I was uh, 7 or 8, I was a little tiny thing, and I just wanted to help my mom so much in the kitchen, washing dishes and ironing. She said, "You don't have to do that," but I wanted to because that would make me a big girl, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I remember that the ironing board was low, well, it was a little. She had lowered it, and I was ironing, and I had this little midriff top. I was real thin, and I was 7, 8. And I remember taking the iron, and it crossed my stomach and
Oh,
burned my stomach,
dear,
right?
yikes.
And I tried to hide it from my mom because I thought that that was something that was not good and that I would be reprimanded about it. So she finally took my hands away. She said, "Why were you trying to hide it?" I said, "Because I didn't know if you would get mad at me, because I'm trying to help her. And now I'm doing something that's not helpful."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but I was so interested in being a big girl, and we used to wear our mom's high heels and things like that. I'm not
Yeah,
sure what children are doing now, and
yeah.
people who are listening, a lot of them are grandparents or great grandparents. So I'm not sure if that still goes on, but we used to play house and with dolls and wear the mom's heels
Right,
and
yeah.
put on her hat and put on a little makeup. We call that dress up.
Uh-huh. That's
So
right. That's a love
yeah, it's
it.
yeah, and I had a childhood. I'm very thankful that I had a childhood. I wasn't we even though we played dress up, I wasn't trying to be grown. I was just
Uh-huh.
doing that because I liked the way my mom looked, and most girls like the way their moms look. So when I grow up, I'm gonna look like this, but I wasn't trying to be her at 7. So, I think grandparents and parents, we learn a lot from the information that you're sharing. Yeah, I like nice talking serious topics at the table and and engaging children and allowing them to talk about what's on their minds and allow them to talk because a lot of children feel like adults don't listen.
Mm-hmm. And they don't listen. I'll tell you a story about that. One day when my son was, I think, 8 or 10, he came home and he had gone out with a friend and the friend's father. And
Hmm.
Anthony came home and oh, he was mad. He goes, "We went to the store and he bought Billy a toy and he didn't buy me a toy." Well, the first thing came out of my mouth, being, the mother, of course, was, "What do you expect? You're not his son. Why should he buy you a toy?" Poor little Anthony. He looked at me and he goes, "You don't understand. I'm never talking to you again." And I realized right then that I did not listen. And
Mm,
because that's what we do as parents. We don't listen to listen. We listen to correct. So
hmm.
I said, "Oh, and I apologize." I said, "Anthony, I apologize. I'm sorry. I didn't listen. I promise if you tell me again, I'll listen. I'll really listen." And he said, "Okay." So he did. He told me the same story, the same thing. He was still mad. And I said, "Wow, sounds like that really hurt your feelings." He goes, "Yes, it did." And he goes, "Okay, I got to go play." That was all. He just needed to be heard.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They don't hold on to things like adults do.
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So how did you convey this philosophy, which is amazing, to the inmates? Because I too taught in the county jail here in Georgia, DeKalb County Jail. I taught the law of attraction, of course, that I created. But how were your experiences?
Well, one of the safest places you can go to, I think, is the jail. Because if anybody gives you any trouble, you open the door, you go, "Guard." I
Mm,
never had that happen, but the guards always said to me, if anybody gives you any trouble, they only let 12 women in at a time. That was the most
mhm,
that we could have in the room at one time. And, the way that I dealt with it is we were talking about substance abuse and alcoholism, and and I had a drinking problem, even though I never went to jail or I never got a DWI. I never got in any trouble or anything. I was basically a weekend drinker.
Mm,
But I knew what they were going through, that whole idea of wanting to be able to quit drinking, but you can't. And so we would
mm,
have these conversations, and I would talk to them about, okay, here's how you get along with people. And they were very receptive to that. And I would say, do you want to hear this? And I would always, I had a different book every week. I would bring a different book in with me. Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now. I would read
mhm,
stuff from there. I would bring the Bible. I would read stuff from there. Sermon on the Mount, whatever, any book that I was reading at the time, Wayne Dyer, anything, I would bring it to class. And The Quality School, William Glasser, and I would highlight stuff and we would talk about it. And the
mm,
girls really, really enjoyed that. And one lady, they were going to take her children away. Her children,
mm,
her mother, and she was in jail. She was a drug addict. And every week when she called her mother, they would argue. So I said to her, I'm going to give you some advice. It's up to you if you want to take it, but here's what worked for me. Shut up. Shut up. Stop trying to be right. Just listen to your mother and just say, oh, that's interesting. That's all you got to do. Oh, uh-huh. And even when she puts you down, don't defend yourself. Just go, oh,
mm,
thank you for telling me. Oh, that gives me something to think about. That's all you got to say. Totally turned their relationship around. They stopped arguing. When
wow.
Before she even got out of jail, the social worker told her that they had taken her children away from her off the table, that
Wow.
they wanted her to reconcile with the family, that the mother had started saying good things about her. And when she got out of jail, she's been out for, I don't know, at least a year now, and she's still straight and sober and getting back with her children and reestablishing all those relationships. She's doing really well. So yes, number one, if you have people that you disagree with, shut up. I'm sorry to say it that way, but just be quiet.
Mhm,
Just be quiet. Nobody needs to know your opinion. Just listen
mhm,
to other people and just say, well, that's interesting. I never thought of it that way. One girl, okay, you know about the law of attraction. I know.
mhm,
Well, she was in this law of attraction group on Facebook, and she writes, oh my goodness, this terrible thing happened to me. I was at the grocery store, and this older gentleman said to me, you'd be very pretty if you'd lose a few pounds. Oh my goodness, how did I attract that? Oh, that terrible mean man. And everybody's like, oh, honey, oh, what a terrible person he is. Oh, how could he say that to you? Blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, here's how I see it. Very rarely do strangers just walk up to us and insult us. He really thought he was helping you, and he wanted you to have a good and happy life. And he thought that it was best for you to know that he thought you would be more attractive if you could lose weight. He wasn't, I don't believe he was mean hearted. I think he meant it definitely in a spirit of trying to be a good person to another person. Now,
mm,
most people don't see it that way. They see like, oh, how could they say that to you? Like when someone says you're a bad mother. Well, hey, guess what? If you think in the back of your mind, oh yeah, maybe they're right. Um, that means that you're the one who really thinks it. It wasn't Eleanor Roosevelt. No one can make you believe what I forgot how. No one can make you believe what you don't really believe about yourself. So when
mm,
somebody says you're a bad mother, well, the response to that is, well, that's interesting you say that. What exactly do I do? Because we're human beings. I'm not a robot. Of course, there's a
mhm,
lot of ways I'm a bad mother. There's a lot of ways I'm a bad human being. I don't mean to be, but what's your definition of bad?
mm,
That's a whole nother conversation. So that's why
mm,
you have to say, oh, well, thank you for letting me know. What exactly do you mean? Because for some people, it's like, you're a bad mother. Oh my goodness. Well, what exactly do you mean? What did I do? Well, you let him have baloney. We
mhm,
don't eat bologna. It could be something that simple. You let
mhm,
it. One woman got upset because her in-laws would let her child read books for a 3-year-old, and this child was 5.
mm,
What? What? He's beyond that now. Why would she let him read a book for a 3-year-old? Well, I'm all but dissertation, and guess what? When I ask ChatGPT to explain something, I'll say, make it so a 10-year-old understands it.
mm.
It doesn't matter how educated you are. Make it so that it's easy to understand.
Mhm. Mm-hmm.
So even if the child is 5 or 10, if they enjoy a book for 3-year-olds, so let them enjoy it.
Mm, that's a good point. Yeah, that's a very good point. Yeah. Now that you brought in Chat GPT, because I was going to mention something about it. Someone sent me something recently. I'm I'm on I'm not really pro AI. I tolerate AI for the things I need it
Mhm.
for, but other than that, I steer away from it because I think we're becoming too robotic. But
Mhm.
anyway, this person sent me something about this young teenager who committed suicide, and the bot basically told him how to do it.
Wow.
Yeah, so the family now is suing ChatGPT about that. I'm telling people to be very careful, regardless of age, about how you use it because it laid out the plan and told him, and he had stated that he just wanted someone to stop him. He just wanted the attention,
Mhm.
but ChatGPT took it in another direction, gave
Wow.
him the information about how to. I can't remember how he committed suicide.
See, and that's another reason
If
why
he shot himself or if
you
he
need to listen to
hanged
your
himself.
children. You need to listen to them, but also you can't let them have these devices all alone and you not know. That's why there's
Yeah.
all these parental controls. Unfortunately, as parents, really, and you're so right, Jamila, the world is getting out of our control.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is so far beyond ethical, moral, intellectual abilities of the average person, even geniuses. There's no way that anyone can figure out all this stuff and be in
Yeah.
control of it. So yeah, and then teenagers get their own language, and you got to deal with that, and then yeah,
Yeah.
Lord.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So I think what you said is so important, just staying in touch with your children and your grandchildren for the people who are listening. And if they seem to be somewhat reclusive and withdrawn after being very outgoing and gregarious, there's something going on. There's
Mm.
something going on. When they have a personality shift, there's there's something at the root of it. So I
Yeah,
think
that's a good point.
the thing is, like what you said, is people are not communicating with each other like you mentioned before. You can be in the same house, people sitting right next to each other, texting each other messages rather than talking.
Hmm.
I know there's someone I know who, and I love them to pieces, but they have a son who won't pick up the phone. He only texts. And see, for me, I'll pull it back and people know I said, I will use an audio text. You don't have to answer the phone, but you need to hear my voice. And I
Hmm.
would like to hear your voice. If you choose not to, then fine. But texting all day long, it makes you robotic.
It's impersonal. Yeah.
Yeah, let's connect. So then I can see you die because you're like a video game. I don't connect with you emotionally. You're not real to me. So people don't see the correlation between what's going on with the high suicide rate and how we're becoming more uh,
Impersonal.
impersonal. Yeah,
Yeah. And just as we talked, families separated. Grandma and grandpa are over here,
yeah,
and uncles and cousins over there. Here you are, this one little solitary family with no help
yeah,
and yeah, overwhelmed.
yeah, yeah. Martha, before we run out of time, I would like for you to give people your information. I loved your book in the background. Tell people how they can connect with you and buy your wonderful book and have further conversations with you. So give us your social media handles.
Thanks. I am Martha Burich, B as in boy, Urich. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and I have a YouTube channel, Martha Burich Parenting. I
Mm,
have a Facebook group, Mastering Child Behavior. You can find all that when you get on there. And the Martha Burich Parenting at YouTube, lots of videos to help parents with stuff. And also, yes, the book is available at Amazon. And I also have a workbook I have created to help you find what your child's mistaken goal is, called the, see, you can't, mistaken goal workbook, because
oh,
children, their behavior has 4 goals: attention, power, revenge, or a display of inadequacy. And you have to figure out which of their goals their behavior is asking for so that you can change it. And that helps you figure that out. And then also, we're addicted, whether it's food, alcohol, gambling, it's because we don't deal with our feelings very good. So I designed
Very true.
a workbook called Feel It, Face It, Free It. So those will be up on my website, marthaburich.com, soon too. Okay, and
Yeah.
that's me. I'm everywhere.
I love the book. I love the colorful book. Yeah. Yes, you can raise happy, responsible children, and the pictures and the colors. It's wonderful.
And it's endorsed by Jack Canfield, Chicken Soup for the
I
Soul.
saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that.
the whole back is Jack saying what a great book it is. So yeah, and it's all 5-star reviewed. Everyone who's read it absolutely loves it.
Yeah, I saw the 5-star review and I saw Jack's endorsement. I just love what he has to say. For people who may not know, he was one of the co-founders of the chicken in
Soup
the
for the Soul. Yeah,
chicken what chicken
Chicken
soup
Soup for the
for the
Soul.
soul. Yeah, chicken soup for the soul series. He and his um friend, I forgot his last name.
Mark Victor Hansen.
Victor Hansen, correct. And they've taken it off to have a series about animals, about all different groups. I'm not sure if they're still in existence, but they have a wealth of information for people. I used to buy all types of books, Chicken Soup for the Soul books to read because it was so inspirational. And I think we need something like that in these times because people are becoming depressed. And so we need something that gives us a ray of hope that's positive. And I think what you're doing is extremely valuable, showing people, grandparents and parents, how to better connect and relate to their children so they can grow up to be healthy physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Because there's so many things out there now that they're dealing with that we didn't have to deal with.
That's right.
We
Jack
didn't have
Canfield
to
said,
deal with.
that's right.
Yeah, the technology piece is really taking on a life of its own and bullying children and it's causing them to commit suicide. We have a
Oh
high
yeah.
suicide rate
Yeah,
because of that.
it is. It's very scary. That's why you really have to know what's going on with your kids. So when they come home from school, don't say what happened at school. Say what's the best thing that happened at school today? What's the worst thing? And then you have a conversation about the best and worst thing happened to you. Have a
Mm-hmm.
conversation because what happened at work today? Nothing. What happened at school today? Nothing. Yeah, right.
Mm-hmm. And that's teaching them communication skills too, and how to be mindful
Mm-hmm.
of themselves and staying in the moment rather than in the future or in the past. So
Exactly.
tell me in this now moment, uh, son or daughter, what happened in your life today that was really good.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Okay.
love that, Martha. So is there anything else you would like to share with our audience?
Yes, I'm going to give my big tip. This is my big tip in life. Look, stuff doesn't go our way all the time, okay? Just admit it. Some days, most of it goes right, a little bit goes wrong. Some days, most of it goes wrong, a little bit goes right. But guess
Mm-hmm.
what? Tomorrow is another day. So just
Mm-hmm.
just get through today. That's all you got to do. Just worry about today. If you do
Yeah,
the right things today, tomorrow takes care of itself. And that works for parenting, for life, for whatever. One day at a time, it's all going to be okay.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I am so happy that you were able to share your pearls of wisdom with us and to share how to raise happy, responsible children because people have gotten so caught up in their own worlds as adults, thinking about survival because these things that are happening now are somewhat troubling for people. So they're spending some parents are spending less time with their children. And so the children basically are raising themselves and they're disconnected. They don't know who you are. You don't know who they are. I used to tell a joke to my students. I said to male students, I said, don't have your child go to the bathroom and say, Mommy, who's that man shaving in the mirror? Because he doesn't see you. He doesn't see you. Who's the man in the bathroom? shaving his face. That's dad. Oh, that's dad.
That's dad.
Because he comes in when the child is asleep and he leaves before the child wakes up.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. But I think you have given people very good stories. I love storytelling and very excellent ways in which they can connect. And and your book, they don't have to do it alone. And that's the thing. Parenting and grandparenting, those are the two hardest jobs. They train you to be a psychologist. They train you to be an academician. They train you to be an artist. You're trained in everything except parenting and being a grandparent. And those are the two most difficult jobs. And you have the most precious investment called your children or your grandchildren. And so that's where we should be pouring in our resources. But this country doesn't do that. So, and people just wing it. They raise their children the way that their parents raised them, or they turn completely away from it, throw the baby out with the bathwater, where there could have been some good things there, but they hated their upbringing. So if you have someone like you, Martha, I think it's so important because you've taught it, you've lived it, you've experienced it, you used your wonderful son as an example of what to do and what not to do, and it worked. So people don't have to be grabbing out in the dark, feeling overwhelmed. They have someone like you with your wonderful expertise. And so they can get in touch with you. They can have a discovery call. They can buy your book. Please go on Amazon, buy her book. The information about how to get in touch with her is underneath this video. So we look forward to having you support Martha, support all of us in this community, Great Lives on the Rise, the 50+ community. And again, go to our website and you can get what? Great Lives on the Rise shirt and the mug that Martha has. You can buy the mug, the shirt, hoodies, yay. And find out more about us. So every Sunday, go to our YouTube channel, Great Lives on the Rise, and click on like, subscribe, and you will never miss an episode. Thank you so much, Martha. It has been indeed a joy, pleasure. You've given us the playbook about what to do as parents or grandparents or great-grandparents. You don't have to try to figure this out, people. She's given you the playbook.
Thank you, Jamila. You're an excellent host, absolutely excellent host. And what you do for people too is just, thank goodness you're out there putting yourself out, doing the work because you're benefiting so many people in so many ways.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. And you are an excellent role model for the rest of people who are trying to figure it out. You've already done it and you're willing to share it with others in a very compassionate, humorous way. I love your style. I love it. So until next time, everyone, be well, be safe, and know that we love you. Okay? Namaste. Thank you so much for joining us for this episode of Great Lives on the Rise, being brought to you by Jamila Scents, which is the product line of Oyende Enterprises. Jamila Scents is a 100% natural aromatherapy line that heals the mind, body, and soul. This episode of Great Lives on the Rise was intended to uplift you, to inspire you, and to motivate you. Please tell all of your friends, family members, and anyone you know who's 50+, who's living a vibrant life and interested in doing more and enjoying life even to its fullest. So thank you, and please subscribe, like, and comment on this video and all our videos. Thank you, and until next time, until our next podcast, namaste and be well.